In 1933, a laborer working on the banks of the Songhua River in Japanese-occupied China reached into the riverbed and pulled out a secret that would stay buried for 85 years. It was a skull, but not like any skull he had ever seen. It was massive, with brow ridges as thick as a man's fist and eye sockets deep enough to hide a grown man's thumb inside. Recognizing its potential value and the extreme danger of it being seized by occupying forces, the man did something desperate. He wrapped it up, carried it home, and lowered it to the bottom of his family's well. There it sat through the rest of the Japanese occupation, through the Soviet invasion, the Chinese Civil War, and the Cultural Revolution. For 8 decades, while the world of paleoanthropology searched for the missing link of Asia, the answer was sitting in the dark, underwater, in a backyard in Harbin. Summer 1933. Japanese flags hang over Harbin, and the city's streets echo with the boots of Manchukuo police. In the shadow of the Songhua River Bridge, a railway laborer named Zhao Qi works under the constant gaze of occupation authorities. The job is simple: dig, haul, keep your head down. But when Zhao's shovel strikes something hard in the mud, routine collapses into danger. He pries free a skull, impossibly large, its brow ridges thick as iron, its eye sockets cavernous. This is not an ordinary fossil, and Zhao knows the risk. The Japanese are notorious for seizing curiosities, parading them as trophies or symbols of their scientific might. Any find of this magnitude could bring suspicion, interrogation, even arrest. Zhao acts on instinct. He wraps the skull in cloth, slips it under his coat, and walks home through alleys thick with patrols. That night, he lowers the cranium into his family's well, a brick-lined shaft 3 meters deep, where the water muffles its presence. The well becomes both hiding place and prison for the skull, sealing it away from the world and from the authorities who scour the city for anything of value. Zhao swears his family to silence. In the years that follow, the secret survives Japanese censorship, Soviet invasion, and political purges. The skull's existence passes only in whispers, a hidden relic shadowed by war and fear. For decades, no official record, no museum log, no scientist's notebook hints at its presence. Only the memory of a desperate act performed under occupation keeps the secret alive. On October 29, 1978, a secret buried for decades surfaced in a quiet Harbin apartment. Zhuo Jian, now frail and nearing the end of his life, called his wife Li Mei to his side. With a voice worn thin by years of silence, he revealed the truth his family had guarded since the chaos of occupation. A skull, immense and ancient, hidden at the bottom of their well. The confession carried the weight of history, war, purges, and the constant threat of being branded a traitor or a reactionary. For Zhuo, secrecy had been the only protection. Now, with the world changing and the dangers receding, he passed the burden on. Li Mei wasted no time. Within days, she contacted the local antiquities office. In early 1979, a team from the Harbin Museum arrived, guided to the family's well by Zhuo's directions. They lowered a rope, drew up the heavy, water-darkened cranium, and carried it out into the open for the first time in nearly half a century. Field notes from that winter described the skull's astonishing size and its intact vault. But the team could only speculate about its true age or importance. By spring, the skull sat sealed within a glass case in the museum's undated fossils cabinet. No press release, no fanfare, just a quiet transfer from private secrecy to institutional custody. The artifact had survived occupation, revolution, and the long shadow of political fear. Now, for the first time, it was accessible to science. The next chapter, anatomical study and the search for its origins, was about to begin. Inside the museum's glass case, the Harbin Skull radiated a silent challenge. At nearly 30 centimeters long, with a cranial capacity of 1,420 cubic centimeters, it dwarfed most known human ancestors. The brow ridges arched thick and heavy, casting deep shadows over nearly square eye sockets. Its vault was both immense and strangely modern, yet the face, if it could be called a face, was a puzzle of archaic strength and unexpected subtlety. In 2021, scientists gave this fossil a formal name, Homo longi, the Dragon Man. The new species label reflected its outlier status, but also the uncertainty swirling around its true place in the human family. The skull's anatomy didn't fit the tidy boxes of Homo erectus, Neanderthal, or modern human. Instead, it hinted at a lineage that had haunted genetic studies for over a decade, a population known only as Denisovans, whose DNA left a ghostly imprint in the genomes of living Asians and Pacific Islanders, but whose face had never been seen. The stakes were clear. Only molecular evidence could confirm if Dragon Man was the first Denisovan skull or something entirely new. Inside a sterile lab, a fragment of hardened dental calculus, just 0.3 milligrams scraped from a molar, became the unlikely key to a lost world. Dr. Chow Mi Fu and her team faced a puzzle that had defeated every standard approach. The Harbin Skull's bones and teeth offered only silence, their DNA erased by decades in water and time. But calculus, that mineralized plaque, held secrets in its microscopic crevices. Using a low pH extraction buffer and partial UDG treatment, Fu's team coaxed ancient DNA from the speck. Hybridization probes targeted Denisovan-specific regions, and sequencing returned a mitochondrial genome at 0.8 times coverage, enough to draw a line of descent straight to the Altai Denisovans. More telling still, 27 unique nuclear variants, absent in Neanderthals and modern humans, surfaced in the data. Proteomic analysis of tooth enamel matched the peptide fingerprints of the Denisovan fingerbone from Siberia. Each line of evidence converged. The face behind the ghost DNA was finally revealed. What began as a gamble with a fleck of ancient Tartar became the decisive proof that Dragon Man was Denisovan. The ghost population, once only a genetic rumor, now had a skull, a face, and a place in our tangled family tree. Today, Denisovan DNA shapes our bodies, from immune defenses to high-altitude lungs. The ghost is no longer faceless. In every cell, their shadowed legacy still walks beside us. Thanks for watching.